My greetings for all participants of Sydney International Conference on Teaching Education and Learning. I am Karlygash Abildayeva, senior teacher at Kazakh National Teacher Training University from Kazakhstan. The theme of my presentation is about the effective use of critical thinking technology in teaching fiction at the university. I want to show how to integrate critical thinking into fiction teaching during world literature subjects, because it is area of my doctoral research to analyze different effective ways and propose methodical recommendations to apply it during the lesson. It is known that the modern educational process faces many tasks that aim not only to provide students with quality education, but also to create a competent individual who can creatively solve the task assigned to him with his own perspective. Nowadays, the level of the education, its impact on the personal development of the learner often depends on effectiveness of implementation of teaching technologies based on new methodological and modern didactic principles. Psychological pedagogical theories that develop activity. That is why there is a need to effectively use critical thinking technologies that develop an active approach to teaching in the course of teaching foreign literature in higher educational institutions. Leveraging critical thinking technology can significantly enhance students' intellectual growth and engagement in literature education. By fostering active learning and problem solving, this approach empowers students to delve deeper into literary text and develop crucial analytical skills. It is well known that critical thinking involves how to think, not what to think about. We also know that the roots of the problem of critical thinking can be traced back to pre-Socratic tradition. It is gradually applied to the field of education, and one of the first thinkers, John Dewey, considered. Also, we can say that the technology of developing critical thinking is a joint work of many scientists. It is firstly systematized and published by American educators Jenny Steele, Curtis Meredith, and Charles Temple. According to them, learning must be active, and it is known that activity will appear only if the learner is eager to learn the lesson. According to scientists, critical thinking is the ability to think to use the certain methods. Critical thinking is the ability to use certain methods of information processing that allow to obtain desired result. Thus, it can be said that critical thinking is a process that often begins with a problem formulation and continues with information search and understanding. It ends with a decision to solve the problem. One of the leading aspects that characterize critical thinking is creativity. It is known that critical thinking cannot be separated from creative thinking. As scientist Lindsay Hall Gamson said, creative thinking is aimed at creating new ideas, and critical thinking identifies their missing points. Therefore, result of the developing critical thinking is a creative person. The critical thinking technology consists more than 60 different strategies and methods. All of those work to develop creative thinking. Teaching students to think critically means asking the right question, directing their attention in the right direction, making their own conclusion and finding solution. Today, students are interested in the types of educational activities that promote excitement, that is mental activity, ingenuity and creativity, initiative and independence. There are known laws of formation of students' critical thinking. Therefore, the lesson introducing the technologies of the development of critical thinking is conditionally divided into the following three stages: arousing interest, recognition of meaning, excitement. The first stage, awakening interest, supplements the students' already existing knowledge, awakens their interest in the topic. It is at the stage that the problem is formulated and the full teaching of the material are determined The second stage, recognition of the meaning, is based on understanding of new material. The basic substantive work of the learners with a text is realized. And the third stage, the judgment or reflection. At this stage, the student should understand the taught material and form his own opinion and attitude on that material. In order to increase activity of students in teaching of prose works translated from English, it is necessary to select methods suitable for the topic, which will be passed from among various strategic methods in 3 stages of this technology of critical thinking. Effective use of these creates opportunities for students to develop critical thinking skills related to ability to acquire process and use relevant information, as well as to present the result of its analysis in a conscious manner. It is no secret that we often see both face of the students in the class, lack of activity, reluctance to study when learning material and doing homework. A passive attitude towards such a subject seems to be connected with the inability to fully understand the subject, the misunderstanding of the given task, the inability to work independently with the various sources, and the inability to properly systematize the information found. On this issue, what do I know? What do we need to know from the text? It is appropriate to use critical thinking skills like this contributes to the success of the lesson. That is, students find ways to solve the problem in the task, listen to each other, and demonstrate their knowledge of mastering prose works. So, if we consider the novel Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes as an example, the list of methods used in teaching it to students can be found in the table below. The first is problematic question for arousing interest. In the first stage of critical thinking development, we suggest starting with a simple problematic question to arouse students' interest in the lesson. For instance, the article proposed the question, can people like Don Quixote meet among us in the future? This question serves to engage students in critical reflection and self-assessment while gauging their familiarity with the text of Don Quixote. And the next is a group tasks for managing recognition. Example, in the second stage of the critical thinking development, students are divided into groups and given tasks for group work. Each group is asked problematic questions related to the novel. For example, one group might be asked with analyzing the characterization of Don Quixote as either a dreamer with noble intention or an impractical figure disconnected from reality. The next is a reflective question for contemplation. In the third stage of the critical thinking development, students engage in reflection and discussion. The article here, my research presents questions for analysis of Don Quixote to each group. For instance, questions might focus on evaluating Don Quixote's action and the motivations throughout the novel, encouraging students to form their own opinions and interpretations. Also, I gave the example of implementation of ideal method. There is introduced ideal method, identify, debate, essential solutions, activity, logical conclusion for understanding new information and solving problems. Through these methods, students are guided through problem formulation, debate, solution identification, and logical analysis, fostering critical thinking skills in the process. Practical application of critical thinking tasks. It is provided specific instruction for finding main solution to problems by working with the text of Don Quixote, such as identifying key passages and analyzing characters' motivation. For example, students might be asked with identifying instance in the text where Sancho Panza demonstrates his desire for wealth and power, leading to discussions about his character development. Literary analysis tasks and discussion prompts. It suggests a variety of discussion prompts and written creative tasks to deepen students' engagement with Don Quixote. For instance, students might be asked to analyze specific episodes from the novel, such as Don Quixote's encounter with the lions or his interaction with Sancho Panza, to explore themselves, chivalry and idealism. In conclusion, critical thinking shows that each person is distinguished by individual thinking, outlook on life, and mental abilities, can form skills that can correctly find a solution to a problem and express thoughts. You can analyze the characters of work in different ways to individualize them and compare them with other works. However, if we allow students to freely answer questions, we think that the work will contribute to weighing thoughts about fate of the protagonist and revealing his individuality. Critical thinking development technology helps to form a generation capable of receiving and developing lifelong education. We believe that the effective implementation of above methods will create favorable conditions for the formation of key competency of students who are able to adapt to a modern condition. Thank you for your listening. If you have questions, please, you are welcome.